Oh, finally, we're live, everybody.
My fault.
Oh, that was rough, but we did it. We're here. How you doing today, Sarge?
I tell you what, I don't care if I'm sitting in the studio with you or if I'm literally 285 miles away from you like I am right now. We just don't get along with technology when you and I get together.
That's a really good point. Yeah, every time we do like a podcast or anything, it's a terrible experience.
All right, there's a reason for it, though, right? There's a reason.
I mean, Sip was saying that you're a boomer, so I would assume that would
Where's
be
he at?
his.
Isn't he running a marathon? He's running a marathon or whatever he's doing right now.
Oh, that's the whole discipline thing, right?
Yeah. Is that what we're talking about today?
Yeah, that's today's subject.
I know. I was playing stupid. So what are we? We're waiting for people to get on the show, or
No, it's just you and me. Sip was going to. Can you hear me just fine? By the way.
I hear you just fine. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little theme music playing in the background.
Is there really?
For me there is. I wonder if it's just me. I don't know.
I think it's just you. I don't hear anything.
It's
All right.
weird. I wonder. It says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. I don't want to do anything to shut the music off because I'm afraid that if I do that,
let's ask.
It keeps starting over and over again.
Let's ask the people who are listening. How does it sound? Send a thumbs up in the comments. Anyways, I wanted to talk about discipline because I feel like discipline is kind of I don't know, it's just this subject that's kind of vague for a lot of people. Like you think of discipline, you think of like a extreme runner, or you think of like somebody like Cipriano. I don't hear anything but you guys. Okay.
That's weird. I have music playing in the background. I wonder. I don't know if that's the theme song to. I don't know that I've ever heard this music before. That's what's weird. I don't want to click out because I'm afraid I'm gonna lose you. But that's good. I'm just gonna have to talk, and I'm just gonna take the theme music and use it as motivation as I'm tying. It just keeps stopping and replaying. It's so weird.
Somebody said turn Pandora off.
Turn what off?
Pandora. Oh.
Hang on a second. Let me I am making sure that I am out of everything here. But no, go ahead. Go ahead. Start talking and let's just get this thing going.
So I feel that discipline for a lot of people is this idea that you have to be this hardcore athlete or you have to be this super dedicated person to which I mean you do have to be dedicated. But for me, for discipline, like it's something that discipline is.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, I interrupted you there, so that's my fault. But I think with discipline, the thing that I think a lot of people have to understand is we do that a lot, where we automatically turn everything toward athletics. I don't know why we do that. Even when we go into a career, there's a lot of times in an interview that people will ask the person, "Did you play sports?" And it's always a plus. And I get that because then they get the team concept and they understand, these people may understand a little more about teamwork, overcoming adversity, persevering through adversity, how to be a team, there's no I in team. So that part of it I get. But that doesn't mean that the person understands discipline more than somebody who didn't play sports. Like you're saying, you can't tie discipline just to somebody who contributed to athletics. That's not the way it should be done. When it comes to discipline, the thing about discipline is you have to understand that there's external forces that are affecting discipline, and every individual's disciplinary journey is different on how they allow those forces forces to attack. You know what I mean? How you allow the external forces to act while you're trying to stay disciplined in whatever endeavor you're taking on is basically what's going to mold you, shape you, and define you. If you're letting all the external forces take over, there's a great African proverb that says, "If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm." And so I always look at discipline from that aspect. And a great motivational speaker, Les Brown, always talks about that. When you allow the enemy outside to do you harm, then from within you cannot be disciplined and motivated in any way, shape, or form. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a sec.
I wish I knew where that music was coming from. And I'm the only one, right? So I have something playing in the background, and I don't know. And,
Yeah.
and it'll stop and then it repeats.
I was really hoping that Cipriano would join this because I invited him on, but he is in Texas getting ready to run a marathon, and he's one of the most like athletic, disciplined people that I know. No
Very regimented, very regimented. Does not like to go outside of his regimen at all. Everything has to be,
and
the T's have to be crossed and the I's have to be dotted.
that was a good point that I wanted to bring up for discipline, because like a lot of people also have just like the idea of discipline that you have to do the same thing at the same time every single day, like it's a habit. Whereas like it's good to have a routine, but
Sure.
sometimes uh like sometimes like you might wake up later and you have to get through your morning routine slightly later or change up your routine a little bit. Sorry. So
Excuse me. I think
it doesn't change your discipline whether or not.
right when you change your discipline, or let me say this, I think it's even better when you're a disciplined person and you're so disciplined in your routine that if you have to take a right turn or a left turn, or maybe go around an obstacle, go over an obstacle, that kind of takes you out of that routine, and you can do that and then get right back on the beaten track. I think that's even better, you know. And I guarantee you that that's happened to him before. There's had to have been a day where, and I've never really talked to him about this part of it, which would be great if he was on talking about it now, where maybe it does take him. There's been a day or two or three. Listen, he went through rhabdomyolysis. That had to take him off his course for a minute,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
When he was dealing with all that, when his body was under all that duress from the rhabdo, that obviously took him out of his disciplinary, environment, and he had to do something he doesn't like to do, and that's rest. So he overcame that. That shows even more discipline, in my opinion,
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you're able to do that.
So
Um,
I have somebody else who wants to join this conversation.
sure,
You know Nick, right? Nick Hall from work.
Nick Hall. I know that name. I think it's because I see you talking to him on Facebook sometimes. I don't know if I know him personally.
He worked in Team One for a little while.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. Yep.
Was he? Is he in the military?
Yep.
Tattoos.
Yes.
That's kind of dumb. I said military, and everybody in the military has tattoos. I remember talking to Nick one time about strength exercise. We ended up talking about that one time, I think.
I would like to know what his idea of discipline is.
Well, he definitely has to know a little bit about discipline, right?
Being in the military.
I think that's just whether you were disciplined before you went in or not. I think coming out, I was in the ROTC program in college, and even then, I got a small taste of what you're going to be dealing with in the military. Um, I'm sure he can give a lot more insight on that. But I have a lot of relatives that were in the military. There's a different aura about somebody who goes through. I got a buddy who was in the Air Force for 20 years. Um, I could tell you about him before he went into the Air Force and after. And I mean, you want to talk about it? It wasn't that he was a bad person before he went into the Air Force, but everything is regimen now. It's amazing how it changes your mindset.
Mm.
Um, for the better, for sure. So that would be kind of cool if he comes aboard to talk about that. I think that's why a lot of people are afraid to go into the military.
because of the discipline.
I think I really do. Not because they're afraid of running and doing push-ups, but the fact that there's going to be that regimen on a daily basis where you follow that schedule to a T, and there is no mess ups. And if you mess up, there's repercussions. There's disciplinary action, so to speak. And no, I'm not saying they beat you with a rifle. I'm saying there's different things that you have to deal with because you're not following protocol. I think people are afraid of that at times.
Do you think people going into the military makes them more disciplined when they get out?
I do. I really do. Have you ever seen the video, Admiral William H. McRaven,
Mm,
where he talks about he speaks at it was a graduation event for the University of Texas, and it's called "Make Your Bed." I don't know if you've ever seen that speech before. And this guy's an admiral, okay, and he speaks at this event at that graduation. I believe he is a graduate of the University of Texas. He talks about making your bed, and that's part of the speech. And he talks about how every day that's the very first thing he does, and such a simple task, so disciplined in such a simple task, prepares you, mind, body, and soul, for harder tasks to come
yeah,
throughout your day.
absolutely.
Something so simple, it just gives you that sense of energy, that sense of accomplishment that helps guide you mentally, from a cognitive standpoint, in guiding you in your journey throughout your schedule for the rest of the day. I always thought it's a fascinating speech, and something so simple like making your bed and how that is. And to be honest with you, it's what started me on my journey. Every day, I could be running late for work. I will not leave without making my bed. There's no way. It just makes me feel like that. It's discipline. Also, sometimes discipline makes you crazy because then now here's my mindset. I'm the kind of guy that will stop my car, turn around, go back and make my bed if I didn't do it because I feel like it's almost like not wearing the same shirt that your team has been winning every time. You got to wear that shirt or else we're doomed. It's almost like you're jinxing yourself in your disciplinary journey if you don't make your bed every day, every morning.
That's a really good
So,
point because
yeah,
waking up early every single day, like it seems so extreme to wake up at 3:45 in the morning every day
yeah,
and then to do 25 minutes of cardio and then do 100 push-ups, 100 body weight squats and 100 or I mean and a 3-minute plank and then journaling, reading and then a cold shower. But the thing is with the cold shower, that's probably
yeah.
one of the hardest things you can do in the morning, but it makes you feel so good for the day. Like everything else like any other stress factors in the day doesn't feel like shit after that.
Yeah. You know what? I asked you, you put that on your Rise Above
In this
Facebook
group.
page.
Yep, in this group.
And yeah, and I asked you the question and I never got back to your answer. How long do you normally take those cold showers for?
So I've been this last week I've been setting 3-minute timer in the
Yeah.
shower. So I'll like wash my hair, wash my face, and then I'll tell Siri set a 3-minute timer, and then I turn it as cold as I can go, and then I wash my body, and then I just
Cuss,
bathe.
swear a little bit.
Focus on
Yeah.
breathing. You can't focus on anything other than your breath.
No, no, it's just all about it. It's almost like little sharp needles until you start getting used to it. And then once you get used to it, it's not that you get used to it. It's still cold as hell, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's terrible.
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's kind of like, and I think I talked to you about this before. It's almost like the Tough Mudder when you did the ice bath, where you jump in. The thing is literally only 4 feet. You jump in and you only got to go 4 feet. It feels like you are in there for an hour and a half. It's
Yeah.
amazing. But when you talk about ice baths and ice showers, it's amazing the discipline that you have. Dave Goggins talks about that all the time. Anybody who knows who David Goggins is, we talk about discipline. I mean, that's one of the first names that come to my mind.
He's the
But
first thing that comes to mind, but I would say that he's the most extreme, and
he's
discipline
extreme.
doesn't have to look like that.
He takes it to a different level. And I think that's something that works for him, right? I
Yeah,
think when you think about discipline, there's another good point. What works for David Goggins is not going to work for David Hess because their journeys are different. What
right.
led them to what leads you to the discipline that you inherit. Your journey is different from what led Cipriano to his discipline, what leads me to my discipline, what leads Nick Hall to his discipline. Anybody who's listening right now, what leads us on our journey in discipline, our viewpoint of discipline is going to be different because our journey was different. I think that's a huge point to make.
And mindsets and goals, all that is different for everybody.
Right. I mean, for David Goggins, if anybody knows his story, very, very bad home life, dyslexic, could not read. I think he was well within the reach of 300 pounds, and then became a Navy SEAL. Who would think that a guy can carry that kind? He literally just forced himself to completely change his mindset to become a Navy SEAL. Lost all that weight, became a fitness guru. I mean, you'll see him on, he's on Joe Rogan all the time, or he does a YouTube channel, and you just listen to how he talks, and it just seems like it's almost like he talks, not that he's afraid, but in fear of going back to that person he once was. So he cannot give up any type of, there's no rest. There's no rest in his game. And it's extreme. It's extreme. Whereas I don't know that would be good for a Tony Sargentopoulos, right? I believe in discipline wholeheartedly. I don't believe in that, but my journey is completely different from David Goggins. So that's something that I think everybody who's listening right now should understand, who everybody's watching. Your journey dictates your discipline. So it's not like I could say, well, David Hess is a little overboard with his waking up at 3:45 and he journals in the morning. He may read a certain book that he's reading, and then he gets his workout in and he gets his cardio in. He's taking cold showers every morning. Then he's off to work, and he doesn't have to do that every morning. That's the journey that's working for you. That's the discipline that's working for you.
Nick,
so
you made it.
There he is. So
all right,
yeah. So if that makes sense.
I missed a lot trying to get in here. Where are you guys at?
We're talking about David Goggins and discipline.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a big one.
Right.
Right. No, yeah, he's. I listened to pretty much all of his episodes on Rogan. Yet to read any of the books, though. Unfortunately, I'm not much of a reader myself. So,
audiobooks. That's where it's at.
Yep. I gotta get on that one.
Yeah, audiobooks are fantastic for people that either don't want to just sit there and open a book up, or if you're somebody who's driving a lot, and you're just in the car for a couple hours this way, an hour that way. That's when it's perfect to have an audiobook, because reading isn't really an option if you're a busy person who is constantly on the move. People who, it seems like in today's world, the person who has a 15-minute commute to work is not the norm. It seems like it could be an hour or two. How many people do we work with in Lansing Delta? Forget about the fact I'm driving 3.5 hours and then staying up there. My commute every morning is 20 minutes. But think about how many guys we work with that are coming from the Detroit area, coming from Battle Creek, coming from Flint. They're driving every day in carpools an hour and a half long. So that's when audiobooks.
That's also a good point for discipline. When you have something like that, you can't really be disciplined because you don't have the time. I mean, unless you want to wake up extremely, extremely early and spend less time with your family.
Shoot, I got a 20-minute drive. It makes it rough for me to get up early enough to go work out and still do my day and come home.
Well, Nick, me and Dave were talking when you were trying to get on, and he said you were going to get on. From a military standpoint, this would be something you can answer.
All right.
Dave was saying he was saying to me, he wants to get your input as far as, did that change your disciplinary mindset from before the military to now that you're in the military, and would that change your mindset after the military?
I don't know, man. I was a whole different person before the military. Like, I really, nothing really mattered. Life was what it was, but now I'm to a point to where I got so used to having a certain schedule, right? Like I had to do this, I had to get this done, I had these things to do. And if I don't do those things, I'm kind of a lazy bum. I mean, we've been off work, and if I don't get my ass up in the morning and get something started, my day is completely shot. If I don't get started working on something, I'm gonna sit there and just not do anything. I have to have a schedule. Something's got to be strict for me. But at the same time, too, there's nothing wrong with having your lazy days, right?
Right. Well, that would be Dave. That's what we were just talking about, right? The mindset's different depending on everybody's journey.
So no, yeah, I don't know, man. If I don't got anything going, if I don't get up in the morning and get right after it, then it makes it more of a challenge for me to move forward, and without a schedule and having something to do right off the bat, I'm not there, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
a sense of routine is super important for me, because if I don't wake up, like if I wake up, I have to get right to working out. If I sit around and have a cup of coffee, then I want a second cup of coffee, and then it's like
Yeah.
10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm not working out.
Yep.
And then my whole day shot, and then my routine for the whole day is thrown off at that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing. Like, oh, sorry, Sarge, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that's one thing, like being at work helps with like me tremendously, because we're on a set schedule. Like we're on a pretty strict schedule. We start at a certain time. You have to be there at a certain time. Otherwise, like nobody's going to be on your job. And then you eat at a certain time. You go to lunch at a certain time. You take breaks at a certain time, and then you go home at a certain time. So you're on this strict regimen as far as time every single day. So it's easy to stay disciplined while you're at work. The hardest part is when, like right now, or like for you guys are off. I'm working, so it's a little bit more easy for me to be slightly more disciplined. But when I was off, it was hard for me to stay disciplined, because I mean, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't disciplined, which is kind of why I wanted to do this video, because during the Christmas vacation, I didn't do crap. I barely worked out, didn't eat healthy at all.
Something that's hard for me, I don't know how you guys are dealing with it, but whenever we went to tag, so I was doing really good. Like I was eating every break. I was making sure that I was maintaining my body with what it needed to survive my workouts and my daily routines. And then we went to tag, and it just kind of threw everything through a loop, right? Because you never know, your break's going to be at a different time every day. You can't consistently eat at the same time. So that kind of messed me up, actually, and I'm still kind of fighting through that one. I don't know if you guys are different.
I completely understand what you're saying. I personally love tag because I'm the tag guy. So my job has gotten somewhat easier, but that is very true, because you're never in a set schedule. You don't know if you're going to be first break, second break, fifth break. And the body is made to adapt to a certain schedule. And when your schedule keeps changing, a lot of people are complaining about that. It makes me wonder, from a health standpoint, tag is probably not a great thing. It really isn't. But who knows how long it's here for? I don't know.
Well, I think from a health standpoint, mentally, it's not good for you, because I mean, you don't get a break. You don't get a break from the sound, or from the noises around you. The lights are constantly on. You don't get any during your break time. You don't get a time to just de-escalate from everything going 100 miles an hour.
Right.
So
yeah, you're kind of sitting there in all the chaos, and the line's running, the machines are going, people are yelling, and you're sitting there trying to eat and reset, and you can't do it. So
you don't want to.
No.
Right.
No. So
No.
For sure.
No, you don't want to eat, and you don't want to do what needs to be done. And I think that's one of the discipline things, right? That you got to kind of take charge of, and you got to sit down, and it's not, it's outside of your norm, but you still got to make it happen. Right.
Right.
So
I Dave, like I was saying to you before Nick came on, there's external factors out there that play such a big role. So, like, okay,
All right. Are you back now?
Lost for a second. Now he's muted. There it is.
No, you're still muted. Oh my gosh. Unmute. Your mic isn't connected. It says your mic isn't connected.
no,
Yep, there we go.
is it connected now?
Yep, we're good.
The whole time I lost you guys, that music's still playing in the background, David. That music's going to be haunting me forever.
Oh man. Should we just count him out of this live?
Did he was saying he's somewhere out of state? Is that what he said? He's
Yeah, he lives in Ohio.
oh
Yeah.
okay. So he's home then.
Yep.
Nope. Can't hear you.
No.
So anyway, Dave, I don't know while he's trying to figure this out. Or is it him working on it?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, man, I finally this morning I got my ass up and I did my cold shower and everything this morning, and it's been a little bit since I done that, and it was rough. But you know what? I think that it's that routine that we were talking about, right? You got to get yourself in that routine, and it makes you feel better. Like I felt great today.
What was the feeling when you came out of the cold shower? Because I know, like, when I take a cold shower and I come out, I feel just like energized and rejuvenated.
Alive, yeah.
Yeah.
It's different, man. You know, I've avoided it. I've been lazy. I haven't really done as much as I'd like to over this break, and it threw my whole routine off. So it feels nice to be getting ready to get back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for me, it's been just it's been a defining factor for me in my schedule, my routine, everything. Like the way I feel during the day makes me feel so much better.
No, it does. It really starts the day. I think that's the biggest thing is it starts your day off in a direction that's going to make everything else feel all right. Because I don't want to turn that damn thing to cold after I've been in there.
No. So when you get a cold shower, how do you do that? Do you warm it up first and then wash up and then?
I turn it on. I get it warm. I take my shower. I'm comfortable, and then I say fuck it because I know I've read a decent amount of the benefits on it, and it's good, you know, and it makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
So I'll get all washed up and I'll turn that thing down, and I try to give myself about 3 minutes is what I go for. Just stay in there and take it.
Do you focus on breathing when you're doing that?
Yep. Usually what makes my determination on when I'm done is once my breathing straightens out, right? Because as soon as it hits you, you just want to deep breaths, and I just try to control them. And once my breathing kind of smooths out is whenever I know that I've had enough.
It takes me a good minute to be okay. To focus on my breathing, to dial it in. Once I focus on it and dial it in, I'm good. It's
not that bad. No.
Yeah,
Do you?
No.
I start on my back. I'll hit my back and then I'll turn around. I don't know how you do it, but it's.
I started my front, but I focus more on my face and my head, and then I ease the rest of the body into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I think I'm back. I'm I don't know if they can see me. I'm gonna wait and see if they talk about me, and then I'll see. I'm back with no music. I don't know what I did right just now. I'm about as ignorant when it comes to technology as it gets. So I'm just happy the music's gone. That was just going on. I literally talking the whole time. That music was just playing in the background. I don't know how.
The funniest part was when you came back, your face was this close to the camera.
That's nice. I apologize to everybody out there. What a nightmare that must have been. I forget what I was talking. Oh, I was talking about the external factors.
Yeah.
About when it comes to discipline. So that to me, that's the biggest problem. I think we all have discipline, but like external factors, like for me, would be being in Youngstown, Ohio, and working in Lansing, Michigan. When so you guys know how we've been off now. I was off. I had a week vacation, then the 2 weeks for holidays, and then we had the 2 weeks for the shutdown. So I'll be heading back up, this Sunday night. And the biggest problem for discipline for me is I get into such a routine when I'm in Lansing between my apartment up there and work. And like you were saying, at work every day, start time, I'm working out right after work. Right. If I do a podcast from up there, I know exactly everything is set up. And my eating regimen is set up. Everything is set up. Then I come home, and I have, my 13-year-old and my 10-year-old. And they've been with me now this whole time and getting them, with school, and all of a sudden my workout is all messed up. Basketball, 7th and 8th grade basketball becomes prevalent to me. Training my athletes back here becomes prevalent to me when it's not that way up there. And so it's like, it's so crazy the way you have to change your discipline back and forth. Now I'm going back to Lansing Sunday night, and it's going to change all over again. So either you can make excuses or you can either just put your nose to the grind and say, listen, you're going to have to figure it out and figure it out quick. I think it's a mental game that you have to play with yourself.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, because discipline is just mental. You just have to do it. You'll always feel like not doing it.
Yeah.
You'll always feel that.
That's so funny. It's just, it always boils down to just do it. Just do it. Then
that's why Nike is, look at Nike.
Comes through, right? And it's just, you know what? I don't think I like that phrase, the easier said than done. Just freaking do it, right?
Yeah.
So
just do it. And here's the thing. I think a lot of times as human beings, and we've all done this, everybody, it's just a matter of trying not to do it as much. When we put there's a person that I know well. Obviously, I'm not going to say names. I don't think anybody will know the person. They're from back here. I've known the person for about 5 or 6 years now. Maybe 6 years. Anytime I talk to this individual, I make a mistake, and let's say 5, 6 days go by, and I'll shoot them a text and say, how's your week going? And then I'm like, oh, what did I just do that for? I get 8 paragraphs of everything going wrong that week. Not one time. Guys, when I tell you, and everybody listening, that I have yet to see one positive comment, I don't know why I keep asking this. It's like I feel like sooner or later the person's going to throw something positive at me. And here's what I started realizing about this, and we all do this sometimes, but this person does it 24/7. We take a chore we have, but we break it down. So I got laundry, so I got to bring the laundry baskets down. Then I got to sort through the darks and the whites and the colors. Then I have to go ahead and I got to bring the hangers down from the closets. Then I got to, hang the clothes up, bring them back upstairs, put all the clothes. I got to do laundry today. That's all you got to do. And you'd be amazed at how it doesn't sound so horrible when you break it down like it's the end of the world. Like the first example I gave, and we do that with so much stuff. We give our schedule to somebody, but we break it down to make it look like it's a complete nightmare. I got to get my shoes out of the garage and put them on. And I'm like, what did you throw that in there for? It's so weird how people will break down every detail, and mentally they're just beating themselves up because they're breaking it down to the nanosecond rather than just naming the one chore you got to do. I think that's what affects discipline too a lot. I mean, me personally.
I will admit that I'm guilty of that. If I have too
and
much,
we all are. Yeah.
if I have too much time to sit and think, I break everything down so freaking small and so minuscule, like you're talking about, that it seems shitty, but it's not. It's really not. It's you got to buckle down and do what you got to do, and at the end of the day, it turns out to be way less of a task than you make it out to be if you sit there and break it down like that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I tell people a lot of times, think about the end game. If you have a wall to paint, okay, if you're in the one room you want to paint this one wall, you're redoing a room, and the whole thing is thinking about everything you have to do to paint that wall. And I saw this before in a motivational video. An inspirational speaker said this: if you break it down in 15-minute increments throughout the week, once you have the prep work done, so if you go downstairs and get the cans of paint and you set it up, you put the drop cloth down, you make sure the wall is wiped down clean. If there's curtains or blinds, you take them off. You have your paint brushes and rollers ready to go, and then you walk away. That's it for the day. That's your task for the day. You're looking at that and the prep work's done. You feel like a sense of accomplishment. It makes it so much easier to then go ahead and paint that wall. And you put that first coat on, and then you're done for the day. Then you put the second coat on, you're done for the day. And I think when I watched this person who talked about, I can't remember the video I was watching now. It was a while ago. But when they break it down that way, instead of putting it off because you're breaking it down like we talked about the laundry, do a little bit every day, and you end up wanting to do more and more because you're seeing the end results. And I don't know how that would work with laundry. but how many, be honest with me, guys, have you guys ever left clothes in the washer or in the dryer, and then you just like forgot about them for a couple of days, and then you take them out and they're all wrinkled, so you got to put them through the dryer again? And then, I mean, I've done it. Maybe I'm the only one, I don't know. But it's one way to look at it in order to discipline yourself. Break it down into small accomplishments, and then that discipline maybe kicks in a little bit better. I don't know.
That's kind of what I do with journaling in the morning. I write down part of my journaling every day is I write down the tasks that I want to accomplish for that day, but it's always like a step of a bigger goal. So like, I don't know, let's say I have to like do something on my website. So I want to, in order to like, I want to promote like a piece of art, like clothing or something. And then that always leads into other stuff or whatever it is. I always do something small. Or like, let's say I want to book a guest on a podcast. I want to book one guest on the podcast today. And so I'll do that, but then it always leads into doing other stuff for the podcast. So it's something that like, if you do something small every single day, it helps you move further in that goal to the bigger goal.
Yeah. It's motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those, I kind of get what you're coming from, is like getting a distraction, right? So it kind of pushes you away from your main goal. So that's where your discipline comes in, right? You got to kind of avoid making those decisions to fall into doing something else that's not really of your goal for the day.
Yeah.
That's where
roundabout way, kind of.
But that's where you got to set attainable goals for the day. You don't want to set ridiculous goals like I'm gonna paint my whole house today.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna vinyl side the entire house in one day. I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, go. Sorry.
You're good.
No, I got a little dog bugging me, but
bring him on. Talk about the podcast. What? He or she?
She, yeah.
She. Well, maybe there's dogs seem. I notice dogs get in a regimen sometimes where they seem to be more disciplined than human beings at times. You take a dog out of its regimen sometimes, and they don't know what you're doing. Like they don't want nothing to do with it. If it's time to walk, the dog knows. The dog knows when it's time to walk. If it's time to eat, that dog is at its bowl wondering what you're doing. You know what I mean?
That's the only way they get discipline, right? Is consistency.
Yeah.
Do the same thing over and over and over again. Otherwise, it completely messes them up too. So I know Dave's got that shepherd of his, and I don't know if you got dogs, but it's
I did. I did for the longest time. I had 3 dogs at one point. One we had to give away when we started having kids because he was just mean. The smallest one, of course, was the meanest. And then I had a Weimaraner. If you guys have ever seen them, you need a fenced-in big backyard. They are hyper, and he was just going to destroy the house. And then the lab, German Shepherd, he just was of old age. Haven't had a dog in 8 years, and obviously being in Lansing and back in Youngstown, it's
Right.
it's definitely not an option right now for sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, the outside factors, Dave, are some of the biggest things when it comes to discipline.
Well, for
People
you,
that,
it's so great. The outside factors are so large because your schedule changes drastically because you're in a
I think,
completely different state half the time.
yeah, I think that's where we talk about everyone's approach to discipline is different because everybody's background is different and everybody's journey is different. You know what I mean? I remember when Lordstown was open. I worked at Lordstown for 25 years before they closed. We had so many people coming to us from so many. We weren't the first plant that GM closed. How many did they close up there in Michigan? Shreveport, Louisiana, Dorville, Georgia, Oklahoma City. They had one plant in California that they closed. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Mansfield, Ohio. All these places that were coming to us. And I often wondered, how are these people dealing with this, right? And their journeys back and forth, back and forth. And so I think one way that I look at it, and I think a lot of people, you have to look at it this way. It's the norm now, and you're not the only person that's ever gone through this. So I don't look at my journey as so extreme. You know what I mean? I look at it as in the automotive industry, when it comes to automotive assembly and it comes to the big three, this is the norm. This is what they do. Whether we agree with it or not, we don't have a say so. And so thousands of people it's continuing. How many times at Lansing Delta we got new people from all over the place, right? Some decide they're going to do that, right? Some say we're going to take the trek over to Lansing Delta from a plant not so far away. But a lot of times it's a plant closure, and we're in a contract year, right? So who knows what does discipline look like this year? I mean, you really have to be disciplined because we don't know what's coming. We don't have an idea. Is this going
Oh
to
boy.
be, what year is this going to be? What's that?
Oh, you cut out for a second. I thought you were gone again.
Oh, no. What does discipline look like is what I was saying in a contract here for GM. I don't know. I mean, they keep telling us to do, right? Save your money because we don't know. Yeah.
I hate that.
Save your money.
I've heard that ever since I hired in. I get the discipline portion of that, but at the same time, like I don't want to sit and live my life in fear of what's going to happen in the auto industry.
Right.
So
yeah, you can't, right? You can't do that, or you'll go crazy doing that.
Right. I think the big thing that all these older generation General Motors are the workers that they're missing to tell us is it's not save your money. It's don't be irresponsible with your money, right? You got to be disciplined to know what you can and can afford, what you can and cannot do with your money. You can't, obviously things are going to change and things are going to be different, but you can't, don't live outside your means, I think would be a better way to put it as opposed to save your money.
Yeah. There's that. And there's the fact that I bought a dozen eggs yesterday for $7.18. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to save my money during this time. But that's a good point that Nick makes though, about don't be irresponsible with it.
Mm-hmm.
Be some, if you're going to talk about discipline, it's always a negative connotation from General Motors. Now I've been with GM for 29 years, and 27 and a half of them full time. The first day, guys, I'll never forget this. Walking into the plant, April of 1993, Dennis Murphy, that was the guy's name. First person I met, and the first thing he said to me at 22 years old, "Do you have a college degree? Because this place is closing." It was like, wow. I mean, not welcome to the show or And the negativity, it's a shame the way you think about it at work. There's a lot of negativity that surrounds us in that environment, and you have to figure out a way to get around that.
Real quick,
Yeah.
the people that are negative are the most undisciplined people that I know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this comment that I just pulled up: successful people do consistently what normal people do occasionally.
That's a good point.
I do
I
like
feel
that.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
Successful people do consistently what normal people do occasionally.
Yeah. Yeah. Successful people normally will walk into work and try to have a good day at work and be upbeat. And it's hard to be upbeat sometimes, right? I mean, we get thrown, there's a lot of things that go on that get thrown at us on the job on a daily basis that cause, I mean, Dave, you worked with me. I know Nick was up the line. Things just irritate me at times, right? And that's always something I'm working on with myself. But I never take work home with me. I walk out of that place and it's gone. Some people take it home with them all day long. And when you do that, you're just that when you're doing that consistently, that one person just said, if you're doing that normally, that is definitely going to be it just keeps building up more and more. You know what I mean? But that's a good point that listener just made. When you're negative around a group of people, it starts to wear everybody else down.
Yep.
And that's when it becomes rough, for sure. Anybody else making any comments?
No, nothing. No, not really. They were just comments from before when you were struggling to get on here.
What were they calling me? Was there any name calling, or was there who's this idiot?
Somebody said I don't hear anything but you guys. Cipriano said I don't hear any theme music.
Oh, that's all he said. There was no other smart ass remark from Cipriano. Yeah.
Nope.
If you're listening, good luck to you, buddy.
So he's doing a 5K tomorrow, and then he's running a marathon on Sunday.
Yeah, and then I know he's off, and then he's on my team. Did you know that now?
Yeah. Yep.
Thank God. We need some type of normalcy. Dave, you want to come back?
No, I'm good.
It's getting normal over there, Dave. Come on back.
I think I'll pass on that one. I like where I'm at, for the most part.
What do you guys do on? I work out in the morning. I know you guys go after work, so I know it's hard for me to get up in the morning and go before work. But what do you guys do to motivate yourself after a shitty day? To make sure you keep your discipline and you get in there and you just get it done, right?
After a shitty day?
After a shitty day, after a long day, you're especially this next week. I mean, I know you're back, but once we go back, I know how it's going to be. You're going to be tired. You're going to be exhausted from standing on your feet all day. You're not used to it.
It's going to be a change. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to work out after work. Like I'll get my weightlifting in generally in the evening. So, I mean, no matter how shitty the day is, like it doesn't really affect my routine or my discipline.
Okay.
By working out, I guess if there's like drama or something going on at work or something, it helps kind of just ease all of that.
Yeah.
But as far as like affecting what I do outside of work, it doesn't really.
So you look at it as more of a inspirational, something to look forward to kind of get you in there and to get it done, right? As opposed to
it's more of the way you're going to tell yourself what it is it's going to do for you. Because you can have a shitty day at work for sure, and it doesn't just not our job, any job. But the one thing I try to do, I call it make the left. When I'm walking towards those doors, it's like a do or die situation. It's a game I play in my head. Are you going to go out the door, or are you going to make the left? Because if you make the left, there's the weight room right there. And I always, it's really a mental game I play it myself. When everybody's walking towards the door, I play this theme music in my head that I'm the only person that makes the left for the weight room. Everybody else is quitting on the day, and I'm going to seize the day. Like I've like I've done some champion type thing because I'm not going to give up on the day. And it's the dumbest thing, and it's the dumbest thing, but it's like I got to play this game in my head that I'm not going to walk away from the day. I'm going to seize the day and finish. And it does. And another thing I do is I think about what working out has done for me for so many years, and I keep playing all the benefits over and over in my head. I don't leave work. A lot of people think I'm crazy because I don't just go take a quality job on Final Line. I mean, with the years I have in, I can't, I like the physical work, and I'm lucky to not have all the aches and pains, 52 years old, but it's because of how I work out. Not just hitting the weights, but the flexibility training, the yoga, everything I do, the aches and pains are minimal. And I have to like remind myself of that so that if it is a bad day at work, you got to get in there, even if you're going to stretch for 30 minutes and that's it. You got to get in there because it's what's maintaining your health. And when you're 52 and you got a 13 and a 10-year-old, you really want to be able to still throw the baseball, and you want to be able to rough them up a little bit. You want to be able to play football with them, and you want to be able to have some type of quality of life with your grandkids. So those are the motivations in my head as I'm having a bad day at work. I got to like block that out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
That
I
makes
guess
sense.
that goes back to just leaving work at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't count the weight room at work as work. Like I once I go through those doors where you're allowed to take your safety glasses off, I'm no longer at work anymore. I completely I don't hear the sounds anymore. The environment changes. I'm walking straight out. I usually just look. I focus straight ahead. Sometimes I got to say hi to David because he's standing off to the side, waiting for his significant other. But other than that, I just try to focus to make that left. For sure. I guess that's how I try to I play that game in my head. But
Yeah, I struggle sometimes because I go before work, and it's kind of sometimes it's I wake up to that alarm and I'm like, nope, not gonna do it today, not gonna do it today, don't want to do it today. But it's you got to have the mental capacity, right? The discipline to let yourself
yeah,
to something you got to do, right? It's going to make your day better. It's going to make everything else in your life better, because it really does for me. My wife will completely admit that I'm a dickhead these past couple weeks because I haven't hardly worked out enough. I haven't eaten right. I haven't done the things that I should do. So it affects everybody, really. It affects my
yeah,
mood, the way that I act, which in turn, like you were saying, if you're in a shitty mood, it's going to affect everybody, right?
right.
So it's
I
it's important to me for
Yeah,
sure.
I think if you're working out in the morning, I can't wait. So I haven't been able to work out in the morning. Sometimes I'll do like a 20-minute stretching routine. I do journal in the morning. But the one thing that uh, I try to prepare myself for is morning workouts once I'm done, once I retire, because I think a morning workout, and this has been scientifically proven so many times from so much research. I think a morning workout, and Dave, you've done a lot of morning workouts. It just gives you a huge sense of accomplishment.
Yeah,
Mentally speaking, it just releases that chemical in your brain that just makes you feel like you accomplished something, and it's out of the way, and it's something hard. It's not easy, and so it just gives you that motivation, I think,
well, and
throughout the day.
you know that when you're working out and you're grinding, you're sweating, and you're struggling, everybody's still sleeping, and
Yeah,
you have an advantage on everybody.
yeah,
It's nice. It's a good feeling.
yeah. I agree. I agree. And so I'm looking for like I've been able to get at least 3 days a week in trying to readjust while I'm home, and it's all been morning workouts. And you know what? The days, it's funny when you said the coffee thing, I started laughing because it's the days where I'll sit here at the laptop here. Um, if I make my coffee in the morning and I start drinking my coffee, the next thing you know, I'm having 3 cups of coffee, and I end up not working out. And then it's like, the day, I'm not saying the day goes to hell, but it doesn't feel the same. So So it was funny when you mentioned the coffee. It's like, don't have your coffee until I got to take mental notes so that when I am done at GM, that's so much structure. It's crazy how disciplined and structured we are because of the way we are at work. I mean, and like Nick was saying about tag relief kind of threw him off because the structure goes away, kind of messes you up. You know what I mean? Because you never know when you're going to have that. Used to be that 8:40. I know at 8:40 it's going to be quiet. Lights are down low. I can relax, reset, eat, think about whatever I got to think about, get ready for the next round. And that goes away with tag relief for sure. So it's amazing.
Somebody said, how many people started working out from watching you and because of your consistency? Then does that help you keep working out on bad days? For me, that helps me tremendously because, I mean, obviously, like I post my morning routines. Recently, I've been posting my morning routines in the community group. So it's almost like a sense of accountability for me because I know that if I don't post, people are going to think that I'm lazy. I didn't wake up. I didn't do it. So for me, I guess it's something that helps keeping me going.
I think because of what I do, it's a huge motivation. So not only
you're a fitness coach.
What's that?
You're a fitness coach.
I'm a fitness trainer with 5 certifications, and so I've been doing this as a professional trainer for 21 years. And I always feel like I'm being watched physically. You know, I think people are looking at me going, "Oh, he's not," you know, and I'm like, I got to stay on my game, right? Or I also feel like people are following my journey on social media or on my podcast, and when they're doing that, I have to know what I'm talking about. So, and I have to. If you're going to talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. Absolutely. And so I always feel like, people are watching me and are challenging me. And again, that's that mental game I talk about. Even though someone might not be saying something, I put it in my head that everybody is saying, let's see you do it since you're preaching about it. And although there may be some people, maybe most people aren't doing that, but that right there, me talking to myself and telling myself that's what's going on, as sick as that sounds, it motivates me to keep going.
That's actually really
in my head, I'm thinking to myself, who the hell does this person think they are? Okay, fine, I'll show you. And I'm playing that game in my head. Like, I've got to show this person that, and I think that motivates me to keep going for sure.
Yeah, I naturally just assume that everybody wants to see me fail. So my goal is to always prove them wrong.
It's a sick mentality, but people say, why do you have that kind of mentality? It motivates you. It's a sick mentality, but it motivates you. I could think about the people who are negative about everything, and I'll put them they probably don't even know anything about what I'm doing, but I put them in this room all talking about what a joke this is. That podcast he does is a joke. And my brother thinks I'm nuts, right? He's my co-host. He's like, why are you doing that? Who cares what they think? And I'm like, you don't understand. It motivates me to want to be better. It motivates me to want to keep pushing it. It motivates me to want to keep driving. And it's a discipline of mine. Michael Jordan always talked about that. So we're going way up there right now. We're going to arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. He always would make up things in his head that the player he was playing against. Did you ever see that? What was that Netflix show?
I don't know.
It was 10 episodes all about the Chicago Bulls. I can't think of what it was called now. But yeah, The Last Dance. So when they interviewed Jordan, he talks about how the teams that they were playing, he would, in his mind, make it up in his head that person was talking trash about him and saying things about him just to motivate himself. And that person would be like, wow, what did I do to you? I would say one word about you. And he would just automatically do that. And it's a sick mentality to have, I guess. But
do you think it's sick, or do you think
if it works,
do you think it's a successful mentality to have?
I think it's a sick, successful mentality.
My biggest motivation, like, that pushes me through my shit. I don't know that anybody that's ever looked at me and been like, oh, that guy's he's in shape or he looks good or anything. I don't think anybody looks at me like that. But I think, oh, thanks, sweetie. My biggest thing is the people there was a handful of people in my life that kind of laughed at me and made jokes whenever I decided that I was going to start going to the gym and I was going to start doing something different with my life. And those are the people that I kind of look at, like, it's more of like a fuck you kind of a thing. Like, I can do it.
Yeah. It definitely is. I guess there is a sense of responsibility from my standpoint too, because if I'm going to talk the talk, if I'm going to preach nutrition, if I'm going to preach, strength and conditioning, if I'm going to preach mental well-being, because what we're talking about right now is more important than how much you can bench press, how fast you can run, how much you can jump rope. It's shoulders, and so being disciplined. Once you get in the gym, that's more than half the battle. Once you walk in the gym, you've already won half the battle. But if I'm going to preach that, then I have to look the part, be the part, feel the part, and so that is a discipline. That is a motivation. So I don't know, David, is it sick or is it successful? I think if it's working for you, if it's working for me, it's successful. If you're doing it but it's not working, or if you're doing it, it's causing you to have irrational behavior, like you're getting in fights with people and about it, then that's where it becomes a little bit negative, right? A little bit on the negative side.
Somebody else said, do you guys do positive self-talk in the mirror or whatever to help you? I'd say for me, I don't do like positive self-talk in the mirror. I don't like look in the mirror and think like you're the baddest motherfucker or anything. But like, one thing I do, like if I'm working out, I'm listening to a song that pumps me up. I think about that song, like how this song makes me feel. I feel like just this badass, like kind of like how you mentioned when you're walking to the gym and you hear this theme song in your head as everybody's walking by and you're like, yeah, I'm the warrior. I'm the champion. Like I'm going and I'm working out. It's kind of what I do. It looks like Sarge. We lost Sarge again.
Did we? In response to that last comment, that's actually, I don't know if I ever told you, Dave, that's kind of what made me start working out is I drank a lot of beer at one point in time. And I woke up one morning, I was brushing my teeth and I saw my whole stomach and my boobs jiggling in the mirror while I was brushing my teeth. And that's kind of what motivated me to make a change, right?
So it's kind of like positive self-talk in a sense.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I try not to beat myself up too much because that's, I've had plenty of that throughout my life. So if I can give myself positive reinforcement, I try to look at the good that I've done. But no, I do. I don't know. I think that is a really good point to bring up though, because Goggins talks about that quite a bit about his what does he call that? His accountability mirror.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like that would.
How do you keep yourself accountable? I mean, obviously having discipline, waking up early, that's kind of a sense of accountability, but do you because like for me, for instance, waking up early, I have my wife set an alarm and she has to wake me up. And I know that if I don't get up, she's going to be pissed off at me because she had to get up and I didn't get up.
Right.
Well, that's like for me, like waking up early, that's like a sense of accountability. Hold on, let me add Sarge back in. Hey.
I don't know what's going on. Were you in on that whole conversation or did we all go off?
No, you were out. We were
It's because I'm on my cell phone. The lesson learned here today is that I need to get Chrome uploaded to my MacBook. That's all there is to it. I mean, that's a lesson learned today.
We should definitely do this more often.
Yeah,
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I would. I'm not doing it with Sep though. Because he's probably listening and he can't say anything back. Watch, he'll come on now. No, I would definitely do that. I mean, I went off just now. You were saying about music, and it pumping you up, and then I lost you guys after that.
I was saying that I don't do positive self-talk in the mirror. I don't like looking at it. But one thing I do is like if I'm working out and I'm really feeling a song while I'm working out, I kind of think about myself like as that song, like, you know, like I'm a bad motherfucker. So
Yeah.
it pumps me up. Like I don't know. I don't necessarily do positive
Music.
self-talk.
Well, music is very powerful. I mean, when it comes to working out, a lot of times I tell runners this: when you're running and you got your music on, if you're running distance, you have to pay attention to the music you're listening to. I know when I was running, like, and I'm not even talking like what Sep's going to be running here. He's running marathons. I was running 10Ks. Okay. And Nick, I'm sure you've done a lot of running at some point or another. I don't know anybody in the military who doesn't do any running. But if you're a Foo Fighters fan, the song Pretender.
Yeah.
I made a mistake one time. I started my running. I'm on flat ground when I first start, right? And then I hit the hills around mile 3 or 4 in a 6-mile run. And right in the beginning, Pretender came on, and right when the drum starts beating and that guitar starts playing, I didn't realize it. I'm in a full sprint. And it killed my run that day because I didn't pace myself. You have to pay attention to the music because it'll affect you in a way where if you're not paying attention to what you're doing in the workout, it could destroy everything, you know, the rest of the way for the rest of your workout. So I get it, Dave, as far as pumping you up and making you feel like, you know, a real badass, but at the same time, people have to watch when it comes to music and working out. Dave Goggins, speaking of, he said this on Rogan. He said he tries to work out 90% of the time with no music.
Yeah.
Because in a moment in life when it's a true trials and tribulation moment, he said this on Rogan, when it's adversity, when you're up against the bricks, you can't stop and put your earpods in, right, to listen to your favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to handle that moment? So I thought that was very interesting when he said that. So I try to go at least 2 workouts a week with no music, just to get that mindset.
When I did that 50-mile ultra run, I didn't listen.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to any music the whole time. I think I was out there for like maybe 10 hours, no music at all. It was just me.
That's crazy.
With my thoughts in the woods.
Now, when you're breathing heavy, did that the mental? How did that work on discipline for you when you started breathing heavy?
Can you repeat that? You cut out.
You can hear yourself breathing. Oh, are you there?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you hear what I asked you or no?
No.
When you were doing that ultra run, music, when you can hear yourself breathing heavy, that could take a negative effect on somebody. Whereas opposed to when you have music and you can't hear yourself breathing. And so did that affect you at all? Being able to hear yourself breathing in the moment? Or
No.
was that no? Okay.
No, I would just concentrate and focus on my breathing. I was more or less focused on the terrain because I had never ran it before.
Okay.
And so I had other thoughts just running through my mind. I wasn't focused on how difficult it was or how hard it was to breathe or anything like that. Somebody said I lost 60 pounds.
I know when I'm running, if I start.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
Oh, somebody said I lost 60 pounds, got down to 9% body fat, did that mainly off desire to prove everyone wrong and prove to myself I had the discipline to do it. It wasn't healthy for me mentally, and it meant so much more when I let all that negativity go. Wow. Congratulations. That's
yeah. And here's the thing. I mean, 9% body fat, that's low. That's low. It's really low. If you look at a healthy male, could be anywhere between 20 and 25% body fat, to be honest with you. When you start getting into the teens, that's your athletes. When you start getting into the bodybuilders, that 9-10. But that's relatively low. But you could see the discipline there is the motivation from all the noise, right? All the white noise that person's talking about in their head. And I think what's even going to be more discipline for them is how to back off a little bit from that, if that makes sense. How to back off from that and slow down a little bit. And then now to carry that journey of a healthier lifestyle and fitness without caring anymore. You know, what's your new motivation going to be? It can't be those people anymore. You let them go. So now what's your new motivation going to be that's going to keep you disciplined in the moment? I think is what should be looked at a little bit more now.
Absolutely. That's something I've talked about on my podcast. When I first started working out, I had a lot of aggression towards like my adopted mom. And so every time I worked out, I remember just like benching, and I would think of the things that she said to me that were negative, and it would pump me up and make me feel like I could get through the workout. But then at a certain point, it just became like it didn't work. At a certain point, I had to find something else. And I would say that's kind of where my fitness journey kind of plateaued until I found purpose and I started training for something and had a different mindset and different goals.
Your mindset will change several times in your fitness journey over your lifetime. I mean, if you're a power lifter, which is what I did for 7 years, that's not my journey at all anymore. I don't care how much I could bench press one time, how much I could squat. Do I go heavy? I go heavy for me, but I'm more about being healthy, right? Being fit, feeling energy, liking the way my clothes fit, being able to work a job that I work and not, produce so many different random injuries you can get from all that repetitive, when it comes to, carpal tunnel, when it comes to rotator, when it comes to just everything that comes with all that repetitive motion that we have to pay attention to. And so that's more my journey now then. So your journey's changed. This person who just sent you that message in the comments, their journey's going to change. Because that noise, they let that noise go now, and they don't really need to be at 9% body fat. That was their goal, to prove people wrong. Now it changes, right? So.
Yeah, that's actually the guy commenting. I don't know why it's not showing up. It says Facebook user on my screen as well, but that's actually another one of my military buddies. He pulled all that off while he was stuck in Texas doing some border control, and I think that was. I'm pretty sure that was his outlet. If I'm wrong, Philip, I apologize, but he made some impressive results down there, and he's actually one of my motivators to help me do what I started. I mean, I'm nowhere near 9% body fat and down 60 pounds, but it's I think that's another thing that helps with discipline and consistency, is having people in your life, even like Dave too, because Dave posts regularly on his Facebook page about talking. Love you, Philip. He posts regularly.
You guys want me to get out of this? You guys want to be alone? I'll go ahead and click off, or where do you want to? What do you call it, bro? What do they call that? Bro love? I don't know what the
romance.
Bromance, yeah, bromance brewing.
But no, it's and that's kind of, I have a lot of respect for Dave and posting, all of his daily routines like he does, because it might not be 10 people, it might only be one person, but if you can do what you do and what you like to do and inspire at least one person, I think it's beneficial to everybody.
Well, I think if anything, it's that thing in your mind that's like, oh, okay, David's getting after it, I need to get after it. Or he did this, maybe I should do that. Or he worked out, and we have, like, you and I kind of have the same schedule. We work at the same place. We live essentially the same kind of life. Mm-hmm. And so, you're able to you're able to work out. You're able to kind of I don't know, what am I trying to say? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, if you can do it, I can do it, kind of a thing, right?
Right, exactly.
If you can do it after work, then it shouldn't be any freaking issue for me to get up in the morning and get after it right before work. So.
Yeah. So with Philip, right? That's the gentleman's name, Philip. Yeah. So with Philip, so his journey may be this now. Anybody, who has seen what he's done and gone through, he's now it's inspirational. I love what he did. I want to do it too. Get somebody in the same situation. And this is something where he, may start saying to himself, you know what, I'm going to start getting this out to people. I'm going to use positive energy now and say, listen, this was my journey. This is what I did. This is how I did it. This is how I'm maintaining it. It was a little bit extreme because I was so focused and disciplined on proving people wrong. But now I wanted to actually help other people achieve what I've achieved, and that could be the journey for him now. You know, it's just that every day you never know what your purpose is going to be. Everybody has a purpose, and every day that purpose can change. So
I'd be interested
good
in
for him,
knowing what his
I say.
purpose is now, as far as wanting to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Well, maybe I'll shoot him a text and we'll try and get him on one of these times we do this again, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sure. Yeah, because I would like to know what,
Yeah.
you know, the extreme measures he took and how he did it, and yeah, how he's maintaining it now, or what he's doing to get back on. If he fell off the wagon, so to speak, for a minute, and now he's back on the wagon again. Discipline when it comes to working out, it's not the beginning journey, because you see gains. If you never worked out before, you see gains immediately. I mean, you'll see the weight loss, you'll see the muscle gain. It's the longevity. It's the journey 5 years down the road. How do you maintain these gains, or how do you continue to gain once you hit a certain number? Once you hit that body fat percentage, once you hit that certain, what we call FFMI, which is your fat-free mass index. So a man in his lifetime, guys, a man in his lifetime can gain somewhere between 40 and 50 pounds of muscle if they really push themselves. Genetics has something to do with that, right? If you go way above 50 pounds, you gain 80, 90 pounds of muscle, there's a lot of questions to be asked. I mean, it's not the norm. A woman can gain slightly less, 25 to 35 pounds of muscle in her lifetime. So in that journey, over a lifetime, let's say it takes you 12 to 13 years and you get up to that 40 pounds of muscle, it's how do I maintain that from there on out? And that's the discipline. That's when the real discipline really kicks in. When you're getting older and you talk about the catabolic effect, which is when atrophy kicks in and your body starts to lose muscle. What can I do to maintain it? How do I do this where I'm not going to lose it so fast? How can I, what do I have to do? That's when the real discipline really starts kicking in. And that's it. You got to embrace the journey. You can't just embrace the small goals. You have to be able to embrace the journey and let the failures fall where they may and just learn from them. Discipline also has a lot to do with failure.
I learned that lesson really hard. I got lazy while we were off, and out of the 3 weeks we're off, I think I've been to the gym 3 times. So once a week since we've been off pretty much. And I went in today for back and by, and I felt like a weak little bitch. And I couldn't move any fucking weight, and I was struggling. I was sweating, thought I was going to puke. It was rough. And
yeah, and here's the good thing about that, Nick, and you probably know this already. The good thing about it is, let's say that was your first time ever working out.
Right.
That would be where it would be hard to discipline yourself to keep doing it. But in your head, because we call that muscle memory, it's not going to be long before I'm right back into right back on the saddle and moving. So that's a good thing for you. That's why I tell people what Nick did, it's something where he knows he could pick it right back up and get moving again. If you're somebody who's working out for the first time, that's the last thing you want to do. You talk yourself right out of it. The whole disciplinary thing goes right out the window.
Well, and that's kind of what I wanted to bring up on this. As far as discipline, like this week, I've been posting about waking up early, working out, getting all that stuff in the morning. It looks like straight discipline. However, like this is my first week back to work, and it's my first week actually having a morning routine since I think like October. I cut out the morning routine and I just started focusing on my workouts in the afternoon there for a little while. But just this week, I was like, you know what? I need to have a morning routine because I love the way it makes me feel. And so it looks like discipline on social media. However, it's just me posting my journey.
Right.
People are and you've even said when you post it, you'll make the comment that was a rough one, or that wasn't easy, or
yeah, it's authentic as possible. I mean, I want it to be as authentic and truthful as possible. I mean, because it's easy to make discipline look easy on social media, but
Well, it is, yeah.
not. It's
Yeah.
all a
There's
mindset.
the
So like
there's the good and there's the bad with technology.
every
I
single
mean,
every single day I've woke up this morning and I'm like, I don't want to do this. And I've contemplated going back to sleep. And I'm like, I need some sleep. I feel like I need sleep. But then I sit there and battle in my mind. I'm like, am I going to sleep or am I going to wake up? Am I going to sleep or am I going to wake up? And then finally I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wake up.
yeah.
So
And you go downstairs and you walk into that weight room you have downstairs, and that's half the battle. You've accomplished. You've got out of bed, which was the biggest. It's the mental battle. And like Nick said, just do it. Don't start the whole easier said than done thing. Just go do it. Quit saying, well, a lot of people will say this to me. They'll say, well, you've been working out your whole life since you were 17 years old, so it's easy for you. No, it's not. I've forced myself to understand the importance of it, and there's no excuse. There's no excuse for it, and it's that simple. I mean, it really is that simple. You have to. Nothing is easy about it. Is there a part of me that loves the workout? Yeah, there's a lot of workouts I do where I love the battle. I love the journey. But there's times when I work out and I'm like, damn, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. I don't feel like it, but I have to keep redirecting my mind and just do it. I mean, I hate to keep using that cliche, but it was the perfect thing to say.
yeah,
For sure.
We've been going for like an hour and a half.
Sure have.
We should probably wrap this up, but real quick, somebody said, have you ever counted macros?
I did for 6 months and I got tired of weighing shit. So I got to a point to where I understood what I was supposed to be eating roughly, and I do my best for it. But as Sarge said, you're paying $8 for 12 eggs. It's kind of hard to eat right now. So it makes it more of a challenge, but
that's a whole different show for you right there, Dave. Is talking about they want us to eat healthy to feel better, but it's so damn expensive to eat healthy right now, as opposed to not healthy. It's amazing. But to stay on with what Nick just answered, that's a great answer. I think everybody starts off counting calories and counting macros, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. As a matter of fact, there's even so many apps out there that'll do it for you. The Lose It app is a really good one. I started off doing it the same. I mean, I almost mirror what Nick just said. I started that journey that way for the longest time, and it can become a pain. I guess having these apps will make it easier. But once I started realizing, okay, I understand. I'm eating this many eggs. I'm eating a steak here. I'm having that baked potato. This is where I always eat my broccoli. I drink my protein drink right here now. I drink my cup of chicken bone broth. I eat my pack of pink salmon here. And all of a sudden, I just quit counting, and I just know what it is I'm supposed to eat and drink. I literally haven't counted calories in over 2 years, 3 years.
yeah,
Because,
close, right?
yeah. You just know what is making it work. And then, well, what if you gain 3 or 4 pounds? I just readjust a few things.
Yep.
Yeah, or I know 3 or 4 pounds doesn't bother me. If you're between, let's say you weigh 185. So if you're constantly between 182 and 190, fluctuating back and forth, that's what you call your metabolic set point. That's normal. It's nothing to worry about. If you gain 30 pounds, you might want to get back to counting calories and macros again. But I agree with Nick 100% on that.
Cool. All right. I think we should wrap this up. This has been fun.
Wrap it up.
We definitely
Sure.
We should definitely do this like again. I've been wanting to do a weekly live since for a few weeks now. But I want to do it on different topics. But
yeah, sure.
All right. Yeah. We could have anybody that's paying attention, right? Post in your Rising Above community about a topic, and then whoever wants to join at that point, right?
Yeah, definitely. This was cool. Thanks for joining, guys.
I mean, if anybody has any more questions, then yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, we'll talk to you. Bye.
Real quick, Sarge, you want to promote your stuff?
What's that? Oh, the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, you talk a lot about fitness, and we've talked a lot about fitness in this.
Yeah, and that's something with the live. I'd rather just go ahead and talk on the Rising Above podcast. When I'm on your show, when I actually come and do a podcast with you, that's when we can talk about all that stuff.
All right. Sounds good.
I appreciate that, though. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Have a good night,
Okay.
guys.
All right. Catch you guys
All
later.
right.
All right.